Hari Om, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, Recapitulation, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. I was always under the impression that I am an incorrigible fellow, short tempered, anytime agitation of mind, always, from morning till night, always agitate. I decided that I lived a wretched life till today. Impossible to correct me. My past is chasing me wherever I go. I prayed to Bhagavan Krishna, Hare Krishna, at least give me a better life in the next Janma. After reading Bhagavad Gita till chapter 13, I was under the impression, which is correct also, that each one comes with the software written by himself. Brahma is not writing, Krishna is not writing. The software is written by us, by me. My software I have written. So I thought this software cannot be changed also, because it contains all the vasanas. It has to come out in this world. So only next Janma, if Bhagavan Krishna can correct that software, then I can become a, at least reduce slightly, at least I have to move, like from first standard to second standard. So I thought that way. Bhagavan Krishna in this chapter says, why wait till next Janma? While you have the ability to correct yourself in this Janma. Of course, you have written the software in the previous Janma. But you can correct yourself, correct that software in this Janma itself. You have the ability to do it. Bhagavan Krishna says, I will reveal that secret. How to correct that embedded software. How to correct yourself is this entire, that is this chapter. Hence, this is a supreme knowledge. Bhagavan Krishna in verse 1 said, I will give you the supreme knowledge, the best of all knowledges. By knowing this knowledge, the sages, munis, rishis, they have attained perfection. In verse 2, Bhagavan said, with this knowledge, people have attained to my being. Hence, there is no death or birth for them. In verses 3 and 4, Bhagavan gave a broad picture of how so many varieties of beings are coming into existence in this world. Bhagavan said, my womb is the great Brahma, in which I place the germ, and all these living beings are born. There are many varieties of beings in this world, produced in different wombs. Insects are the worms, reptiles, birds, animals, human beings, n number of varieties, each one having a different color, different form, different character. Bhagavan said, whatever forms are produced, whatever is the name and form, the great Brahma is a womb, and I place the seed in that womb. So that is the greatest secret, why there are so many varieties of beings. Now Bhagavan explains the wonder of how the matter and spirit are bound to each other. Can somebody mix oil and water together? It should not be separate, which is impossible. But in this case, body and spirit are bound together. How? In verse 5, Bhagavan said, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas belongs to Prakriti, and they bind the spirit, the indweller, to the matter, that is body. That is the chain by which it is bound. These three are the three chains by which a person binds himself. What is the nature of these chains and how it binds a person? It should be known. Only when a person knows which chain is binding him, how will he remove that lock, small lock, to get oneself removed from the shackles of the chain. Bhagavan in verses 6, 7 and 8 explains by what these chains are made of. Bhagavan in verse 6 said, Sattva is pure, luminous, and free from affliction. It binds a person by attachment to happiness and knowledge. Sattva binds a person by attachment to happiness and knowledge. In verse 7, Bhagavan said, Rajas is of the nature of passion, unquenchable thirst, and attachment. It binds a person by action. So Rajas means action. In verse 8, Bhagavan said, Tamas is born out of ignorance. It causes delusion to all the beings. That is the most powerful uh, guna, tamas. It causes delusion. It binds a person by indifference, laziness, and sleep. Then Bhagavan said, how the gunas affect the mind of a person. Bhagavan said in verse 9, Sattva binds in the form of happiness, Rajas in the form of action, and Tamas by clouding the knowledge, delusion. In verse 10, Bhagavan clearly said, only one guna will be predominant at one point in time. All the three cannot be predominant. Only one guna will be predominant. When Sattva is predominant, Rajas and Tamas becomes dormant. When Rajas is predominant, Sattva and Tamas is dormant. When Tamas is predominant, Sattva and Rajas is dormant. Then Bhagavan explains in verses 11, 12 and 13 how to identify which guna is predominant in a particular point in time by seeing the symptoms of the body, so that based on that symptoms you can correct yourself. How will I know at present what is my predominant guna? Bhagavan explains the same. We all know that this body is the nine-gated city. Bhagavan said in verse 11, when through the gates of the head, that is eyes, ears, nose and mouth, if the light of intelligence shines, then Sattva is predominant. In verse 12, Bhagavan said, greed, activity, undertaking of activities, restlessness and longing are the symptoms of Rajas. When Rajas is predominant, these are the symptoms. In verse 13, Bhagavan said, dullness, idleness, indifference and delusion, they are present when Tamas is predominant. These three gunas are present in everyone, from saint to sinner. Nobody can say, no, I am bound by only one guna. All the three gunas are there for all the people, irrespective of whether you are a saint or a sinner. Now only the cry is getting answered. Hare Krishna, in this Janma you have punished me. At least in next Janma give me a good life. No, correct yourself in this life. Bhagavan says, why one should increase Sattva Guna? What happens if Rajas and Tamas are increased? So why one should increase the Sattva Guna? What you sow, so shall you reap. Today, tomorrow is nothing but modified form of today. So if you correct yourself today, tomorrow you will be a happy person. That is what Bhagavan is trying to say. That is what I understand. In verse 14, Bhagavan said, if Sattva predominates the life of a person, then this person, after death, he attains the world of the highest, that is, which is free from impurity. In verse 15, Bhagavan said, if Rajas predominates the life of a person, then he is born to those who are attached to action. If Tamas is predominant, then he is born in the womb of those who do not have discriminative faculty. Bhagavan Krishna in verses 16 to 18 gives an account of the results of gunas. In verse 16, Bhagavan Krishna said, the fruit of good action is sattva and therefore it is pure. The fruit of rajas is pain, dukkha. Fruit of tamas is ignorance, delusion. In verse 17, Bhagavan said, knowledge is born of sattva, greed from rajas, and indifference, delusion, and ignorance are born of tamas. In verse 18, Bhagavan Krishna said, those who reside in sattva, they go upwards. Those that are in rajas, they remain in the middle. And those who reside in tamas, they go down. Naturally. If you are intelligent, your intelligence comes through your head only. If you are rajas, you take care of your tummy only. If you are tamas, it goes down. In verses 19 and 20, Bhagavan says, what is the nature of the person who knows the self? Bhagavan said in verse 19, when a seer knows only the gunas are the agent and there is no other agent, and he also knows that he is above the gunas, he attains to my being. So Bhagavan says the agent is only the gunas. Gunas only transacting business in this world. And he also knows that he is above the gunas. Then he attains to my beings. In verse 20, Bhagavan said, the one who crossed the gunas and who knows that out of the gunas only, this body is manifest. He is released from birth, death, decay, sorrow, old age, etc. He gains immortality. Then in verse 21, Arjuna is asking a question to Bhagavan Krishna. He asked Bhagavan Krishna, Hare Krishna, what are the marks of a person who has crossed the three gunas? What is his conduct? And how does he transcend the gunas? He is asking these pertinent questions. He is an intelligent guy. Because by seeing, he is not trying to guess the other person. By seeing that person, I will try to emulate myself to that stage. Normally, you have a role model. Role model. Many people have cinema heroes. Whatever way he dresses, they also dress. It is not then you wear the robes or Rudraksha Mala and then act like that person. It is not so. You try to follow the path followed by that great person who crossed the gunas by seeing his conduct. Adopt that conduct in yourself so that you can also cross the gunas. That is the intention behind the question. In verse 22, Bhagavan answered his first question. Sattva, that is light. Rajas, that is activity. Tamas, that is delusion. When present, this person does not hate them. When absent, he does not long for them. Because they are the agent, they are transacting their business. I am different. These are the marks of a person who crossed the three gunas. So the first question is answered in verse 22. In verses 23 to 25, Bhagavan answers the second question. Bhagavan described the conduct of that person who crossed the three gunas. Bhagavan Krishna said, the person who has crossed the three gunas is always balanced in his mind. Very, very important. I am always not balanced in mind. Either happy or unhappy. So Bhagavan says, the person who has crossed the three gunas is always balanced in his mind. The external situations does not irritate him in a positive or negative way. He is as cool as cucumber in all situations. Bhagavan Krishna said, he is seated like one unconcerned. He is not shaken by the gunas. He knows that gunas alone are acting, and hence he does not move from the vision of the self. He, being a wise person, is the same with reference to pleasure and pain. For him, a clod of earth, a precious stone, or a gold makes no difference. He is the same in pleasant and unpleasant situations. He is the same with reference to praise or censure. He is the same in honor and dishonor. He does not undertake any activity of selfish nature. Anything that will benefit him, he will not undertake. He is not interested. Sarva arambha parityagi. He will not, no selfish, thinking of acquiring, possessing and enjoying a particular thing to the exclusion of all the other people. It is not there for him. That is what Bhagavan Krishna said in verses 23 to 25. In verse 26 and 27, Bhagavan gives the technique how to transcend the gunas. Is that possible? In verse 26, Bhagavan Krishna said, the one who serves me or seeks me with unflinching devotion, not a vibhachari's mind. You always think about how to, so many thoughts at the same time. That is vibhachari's mind. It is not a chaste mind. So the one who seeks me with unflinching devotion crosses the three gunas and he is alone fit to become Brahma. In whatever work we do. Whatever you are doing, it has to be done in accordance with Dharma. That is the first principle. Because Dharma is Krishna, Krishna is Dharma. Then the work should be treated as allotted by Bhagavan Krishna. I don't like this work. I want to do something else. Nothing doing. This is the work given to you. You have to do it. There is no other way. Because that is how we have to work in this world. Each one like the job of other. So that is not possible. Work which you have, no work can be despised. That is what Bhagavan Krishna says. All work are equal. Which work is better, which work is, because nowadays people go for only employment in AC rooms. But many of them may not be able to do that. So Bhagavan says, no work is higher, no work is lower. Whatever work given to you, you have to accept it as a good work given by Bhagavan Krishna. Finally, Bhagavan says, surrender, do it with utmost perfection. Love the job. Focus on that work. Whatever be the results, whether it is success or failure, it is to your expectation or not to your expectation, whatever be the result, surrender the result to the feet of Bhagavan Krishna. So that is what says when he says, one who serves me or one who worships me with unflinching devotion. So the idea behind it was, otherwise Krishna would have told Arjuna, remove all your this protection of your chest, etc. Kavacha Gundal. Whatever you are wearing, remove it, go to a temple and serve. He is not saying, you do your duty. Fight this war. So everybody should do the work according to the maximum perfection and surrender it to the feet of Bhagavan Krishna. That is what I think what he is saying in verse 26. In verse 27, Bhagavan said, I am the basis for that Brahman, that is immortal, not subject to change, eternal Dharma, which is Ananda and which is not subject to negation, that is Satya. In effect, I think Bhagavan Krishna is saying that I am the Brahman in form. For 99.99999, you can put the number of nines, percentage of people, it is difficult to focus on the formless Brahman. Maybe one Adi Shankara may be able to do that. For all others, it is impossible to focus on the formless Brahman. When Brahman has taken a beautiful form and standing before you, either in the form of a photograph or in the form of a statue or in the form of anything. So it is easy to capture that form of that Brahman in your heart and surrender all your work in the feet of that Brahman. So meditate on Bhagavan Krishna. That is what I think verse 27 is saying. So I have given the interpretations of Adi Shankara also. That interpretation has to be taken as correct. I am only thinking from my level. So from my level, it looks to me like that. So with due respect to the Acharyas and with all the Namaskaras, we have completed chapter 14. Arihom Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu. Narayana 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 Narayana